I want to welcome each and all of you to this celebration of life service for Alec Stone. This is a term that you sometimes hear associated with funeral services and memorial services, but as you look at the program today and as you will experience the service today, I think you would all say, yes, this really is a celebration. A celebration with some of Alec's favorite awesome music, everything from John Denver to Van Morrison, from Paul Simon, and then later today from Jerry Garcia. In fact, in honor of this, I'm wearing a Jerry Garcia tie. Alec loved poetry, and on the back of your program, you'll see that wonderful poem by Walt Whitman. And then later in the service, Lydia will read a poem written by Chris. So this is a time for us to celebrate the life of Alec Stone. I'm really honored to be here with all of you at the invitation of my friend Chris Stone. I really want to, we are all indebted to him for putting this whole day together, this whole celebration of what we experience here and what we'll have after the service as well. And each one of you here today is here because Alec touched your life in some very wonderful and special and unique way. And you come here today with memories and with grief and with gratitude for his life and your relationship that was so special. Julia Maxwell, you're a partner for 12 years. What an amazing relationship you've had together. Judy, your dear son, and you were showing me a pillow that was given to you that is so special, that will comfort you as well, and Jim, as stepdad. Dennis, son, this is his son. Judy Stone, stepmom, who died a few weeks ago as well, and the service was Monday, so what an amazing week for you family. And then siblings, Laura and Linda and Lisa and Regina and Courtney. And then Chris Stone, wife Jamie, and children Lydia and Audrey. And then countless friends and really an extended family. To see all of you here today really warms my heart. It's very moving. And I've known Chris for about 10 years. We've been part of his church and in choir together. And so I've been traveling this journey with him as I've learned about Alec, as he's kept me updated on what's going on with him, and many stories about him. Now, I personally only visited with Alec a couple of times, but I've really heard a lot about him. And I prayed many prayers for him and really for you, Julia. I've learned a lot about his wonderful free spirit. Isn't it a wonderful free spirit? The Happy Hippie, as you first, I think, told me about Alec. And the spirit, I think, is a word that's very appropriate. I know of Jewish background and family that, in Hebrew, the word for spirit is ruach. And it really means spirit and breath and wind. And so if we think about that wonderful spirit that connects us all as we go out into a breeze, or as we all breathe the breathing of life, that God is with us and connects us all. You know, what a wonderful free spirit that he had. And I think that he was just full of curiosity. As I listened to him, I'm a pretty curious person myself, but the curiosity about all kinds of things in the world and what the world had to offer him. And he never did want to put himself in a situation where he would feel boxed in. He wanted to be free to travel the globe, to discover, to explore, and to really think freely. He was all about peace and love. Some of you are old enough in here to remember that hippie comment of peace and love. Well, I wish we had more of it today, don't we? And he was about peace and love. What a blessing. I could go on and on about him myself, of what I've heard, but everyone in here today has had your own experiences with him, and you know how special he was. Diagnosed with a brain tumor over 18 years ago, and was given 6 months to live. Now, to most people, that would be a death sentence, but not to someone like Alec Stone. To him, it was a challenge to overcome the odds and to discard naysayers and to only surround himself with those who are positive and could help to lead him on that path of both physical and spiritual healing. Through it all, he remained positive and even content, I think, with his situation. He continued to live. He really continued to live versus the alternative. He knew that there was more to the story, and he knew that there was more and to this than we experience on earth. He knew that there was life after death. Chris told me on the morning of Alec's departure from this earth that he whispered these words into Alex's ear. If you need to let go now, it's okay. You're going to play in a band up in heaven with Jerry Garcia and John Lennon. I will see you on the other side. And when I get there, I will be on the front row cheering you on. Alec passed peacefully about 6 hours later, and I have no doubt he was playing in that amazing heavenly band that Chris described for him on that morning. While this is a service of true celebration, and this whole rest of our time together today, after the service as well, will be a time of celebration, but this service is also for you. A time to celebrate, but also a time to be comforted in your grief and missing him. The scripture from Psalm 121 describes the beauty of nature and the constant presence and comfort of God. So the words that from this beautiful psalm, may they touch your hearts, and may they comfort your grief and affirm your faith for the living of each of these days. So as I share with you the words from this psalm, you can just imagine with me as he was writing this, that he was out of doors in the beauty of nature, experiencing and seeing all that is a part of creation, and also thinking about the presence of God close to him as the breath he was breathing, and seeing and feeling the presence of God in a way that comforted him. I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Amen. So now join me in this time of listening to beautiful music and praying and reflecting. Amen.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Karen, she's the silver sun. You best walk her away and watch it shining. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing now. I'm crying, ain't I? Gone to Carolina in my mind. There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. Whisper something soft and kind. And hey babe, the sky's on fire. I'm dying, ain't I? I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Dark and silent late last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling. Geese in flight and dogs that bite. The signs that might be omens say I'm going, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. With a holy host of others standing around me, still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it seems like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone to Carolina in my mind. And I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone, I'm gone.
Thank you, Lydia, for doing that. That was a beautiful thing you put together there for us. Thank you. We just can't thank you all enough for being here today as we gather to honor and celebrate the life of my brother, Alec Stone. On behalf of Julia, my parents, and our entire family, we want to thank everyone who has supported us, not only during these past few months, but over nearly 2 decades as my brother battled his illness bravely. Your phone calls, texts, Facebook comments, in-person visits have really meant the world to us. We know that many of you have traveled long distances and made great sacrifices to be here. So we thank you for that. And for those of you who are joining us today on live stream, thank you for being here as well. We feel your presence here today. We want to take just 1 second to thank everyone who cared for my brother during his illness, from his surgeon, Dr. Finn, his oncologist, Dr. Fink, her staff, and the entire staff at Live Oak Rehabilitation and Wellness Center. I know you guys are watching today, so we love you and we think of you guys as family. Julia, I just want to take a minute and say that you have been the most amazing partner to my brother for over 12 years. You guys had an awesome relationship. He loved you so much. I watched you care for him over the years with such selflessness. It was truly inspiring and amazing to watch. Just know that we love you and we'll always be here for you. You are always a part of our family. And to my mom, Judy, you were here for Alec during some of his most challenging days. You were by his side, supporting him and advocating for his every need when he was unable to do so for himself. I know there were some heartbreaking days for you. But through it all, you remained steadfast and unwavering in your mission to make sure that he got the best care possible. To me, that shows the true love of a mother to her son. One of the songs that you heard during the slideshow is by the band U2. It's called I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Some of you know this song very well. Some of you may not know it at all, but if you knew my brother at all, no doubt you heard him play this song. Played it on his guitar, played it on ukulele, whatever he could grab. It was a song that had a strong meaning to him. It was a song that ultimately defined his life. It wasn't, though, till I started preparing what I might say today, listened to the song many times, that I finally understood why he loved the song so much. The song says, I have climbed highest mountain. I have run through the fields, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Those words sum up my brother in a nutshell, especially the emphasis on the word still. The song is about a search for higher meaning. It is about constantly striving to reach a higher plane, but one that we may never ultimately reach in this lifetime. But to my brother, it didn't matter that he might never reach that higher plane, because for Alec, it was always about the journey. It was always about the search. It was about the music you play, the things you create, and the friends you make along the way. It was about living life to the fullest every single minute of every single day and having no regrets. No regrets. Alec always felt that there were places yet to be seen and that there were questions yet to be answered. You could say that my brother was never fully satisfied. But that was okay with him because he was on a continuous quest to live fully, to love freely, and as the bumper sticker on his van said, to coexist. From a young age, my brother was what you might call a free spirit. I know this because he used to cut class a lot back in the day. He would go out the front door, hide in the bushes, And then when Dad wasn't looking, when Dad was gone for work, he was a free man. What he did with his free time, I'm not really at liberty to say today. But remind my dad, Dennis, later to tell you the story about the time that Alec created a life-size tree in his bedroom made of yarn, where he stapled it to the walls. Or the peppercorn story, right, Dad? Tell us that later. It's not that young Alec didn't appreciate school or education. He just always wanted to be someplace other than where he was. From the beginning, he wanted to get the most he possibly could out of his life. He was always busy dreaming about his next adventure, and even busier working to make those dreams a reality. When he was 17, he threw his guitar over one shoulder and a backpack over the other and took off to Hawaii to live with my mom and Jim. There he enrolled in the Academy of the Pacific, and he was there to finish high school, and with the support of my mom and Jim and a little bit of tough love, he did finally finish high school. But while he was in class, Alec, the dreamer, always had one eye out the window at the ocean. He never wanted to be confined to a classroom or later in life, an office setting. That just wasn't his style. He always wanted to be out in nature, where he was free to think and create and grow as a human being. While in Hawaii, Alec spent a lot of his time on the beach with friends around a bonfire, playing his guitar, hearing the waves crash upon the shore, and dreaming about all the possibilities that life held for him. Later, when Mom and Jim moved to Lake Tahoe, my brother went along. There, he got a job at Heavenly Valley Ski Resort. Once again, he was right there in his element, surrounded by nature. At Heavenly, Alec learned to snowboard. And so that made him free to, he learned to snowboard, and that made him free to go out into the trees alone, where he took time to slow down his mind and to no doubt contemplate his existence and to live an authentic life. Alec once told me that he preferred snowboarding over skiing. He said that with the board, he felt more connected to the mountain, and therefore he felt closer to the earth itself. That's how deep of a thinker my brother was at times. For me, when I'm skiing, I'm just trying to get down to the lodge as quickly as possible and in one piece, right? Not Alec. He was in the mountains, not just to snowboard, but he was there shaping his belief system and is always expanding his search for higher meaning, but in a place that he loved. When he left Lake Tahoe, Alec continued to travel the country. Every year for over a decade, he would go to what is called the Gathering. There, he would gather with people who had the same ideologies as he did. For weeks at a time, this group of like-minded individuals would disappear into the forest. And they would share their ideologies of peace and love. Alec absolutely loved to go on these trips. And he looked forward to them every year. He always came back from the gathering even more free-spirited and more at peace than when he left. He invited me to go along with him once on these gatherings, but when I found out that there would be no running water or indoor plumbing of any kind, I had to decline. But I did ask Alec one time why he loved to go on these gatherings. He told me that he would go there to fill his emotional tank. He said that, like a car's tank, when the emotional tank is empty, you go nowhere. But when it's full, you can go anywhere. He believed that people with empty tanks tend to be more negative and therefore have a harder time coping with life. But those with full tanks tend to stay more positive and therefore have an easier time handling tough situations. As gentle and tolerant a person as Alec was, one thing he did not tolerate was jerks. To those of you who count yourself as friends to Alec, you know that Alec saw you and that you were good. No matter where Alec went, people were drawn to him. They were always interested in what he had to say and his way of thinking. He prided himself on being what he called Zen-like, right? Or chilled out. Regardless of the term, my brother really did live this way every single day. He lived in a constant state of peacefulness and serenity. Alec was always in the present moment, didn't worry about the future. He was always relaxed and didn't stress over things that he couldn't control. Alec believed in simplifying his life and in slowing down the pace. He only focused on the good things and he tossed away the negative. Alec surrounded himself only with positive, like-minded people. He had an amazing calmness about him and an attitude of acceptance, no matter the situation. The day that Alec was given his diagnosis of terminal cancer, while the rest of us were overwhelmed and distraught with grief, Alec simply gave a small nod of his head, a slight shrug of his shoulders, and said, "It is what it is." Right, Dad? It is what it is. He never cried or felt sorry for himself. His lifetime work of seeking higher understanding of his purpose on earth led him to know that our time here on earth is fleeting. To Alec, death was simply another one of life's paths to explore. And Alec did so without fear, without self-pity. Even when his health declined and he required more intensive care, he never complained. For most people, being admitted to a nursing home at a young age would be difficult, but not Alec. Alec still managed to look for the good. He enjoyed his roommate. He loved the staff that was there. They were incredible to him. We are grateful for his time there, as he was. He was surrounded by people who loved him, even as he so loved them. Thank you guys all again, by the way, at Live Oak. One time when Alec was living with us, I was doing the dishes. I must have been slamming them around a bit because he came over to me and said something like, "Hey, brother, the dishes are always going to be there, so you may as well enjoy the process of washing them. As you wash the dishes, listen to the sound of the water trickle. Feel the warm water on your hands as you go." He said, washing dishes is a privilege because it means that people you love were eating at your table. To this day, I've never forgotten that moment or other countless lessons that I learned from my brother about how precious time is and how incredibly valuable our lives truly are. Alec, I know you're here with us today and that you will always be here with all of us because of moments like these where you gave of yourself so freely. You left behind a legacy of friendship, gentleness of spirit, and a love that will never die. As we were on our way here today, I was talking with my wife, Jamie. She said, Corinthians 13:4 really speaks about Alec. She said, all you got to do is change one word. You got to put his name in place of love. How amazing an observation she had to say this. Alec is patient. Alec is kind. Alec is not jealous or boastful. Alec is not arrogant or rude. Alec does not insist on his own way. Alec is not irritable or resentful. Alec does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the right. Alec bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things. Alec never ends. Thank you, Jamie.
We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun. Here the bonnie boat was one as we sailed into the misty. Hark, now hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. And let your soul and spirits fly into the mystic. And when that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. When that foghorn blows, I want to hear it. I don't have to fear it, and I want to rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will float as we sail into the mystic. That foghorn blows, I will be coming home. And when that foghorn whistle blows, I gotta hear it. I don't have to fear it, and I wanna rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will float as we sail into the mystic.
I'll always remember the first time I saw Alec. I was 12 years old, and my class went on a field trip to hear the Dallas Symphony perform. We met up with all the other elementary school classes to get ready for North Carrollton Junior High the following year. I was hanging out by the playground at lunchtime, and I noticed this striking, sandy-haired young man trying to get away from this girl who was really upset. She was kind of red in the face, and Alec was backing away. And he stopped, and he looked at her. He said, "Look, you could kick my butt right now, but I'm a smart guy, and I'm going to be a millionaire someday and buy all my friends their favorite car. Can I put you down for a BMW?" She immediately smiled and said, "I'm more of a Mercedes girl." And they became instant friends. The threat was neutralized, and that young man, of course, was Alec. I was amazed and impressed by his cheeky demeanor, by his clever wits, and I immediately wanted to be friends with him. "My name is Alexander Kevin Peter David Stone," he told me, and we laughed at his multi-named alias. Me, I was raised exclusively on symphonic music, so folks like Tchaikovsky, Beethoven, Rimsky-Korsakov, those were my heroes. That's all I knew. But Alec was obsessed with the Beatles, and he personally introduced me to their music. It was life-changing music with deep appreciation for their brilliant and irresistible melodies. He educated me about their 2- and 3-part harmonies, and there was a documentary called The Complete Beatles that we would watch on VHS cassette time and time again. We began learning their songs together, and he let me borrow what he called his banger acoustic guitar. It was one that would get banged around a lot. It was a cheap student model with sky-high action that made fingers bleed. After that, I listened to nothing but the Beatles, and Alec and I soon knew every word to every Beatles song. We would play at parties, me on piano, Alec on vocals, sometimes with his guitar, playing songs like A Hard Day's Night, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Imagine, Let It Be. They helped us make friends and impress the cute girls at parties, and we developed a little fledgling reputation for our musical skills. We decided early on that we would become the new Lennon and McCartney. As Stone and Velasco, we set up 2 chairs and a makeshift table in his garage, and we said, these songwriting sessions will become legendary one day. We were a couple of full-time dreamers who used music to navigate and thrive during those challenging teenage years. Eventually, we started a band with our friend Matt, JJ on drums, Alec on bass, and I played keys. We rehearsed regularly, learning songs by the Beatles, U2, REM, and we had pure joy in our hearts and dreamed of selling out stadiums one day. Alec was the first person I knew who wrote an original song. In true form, he wrote it about a fight that he had with his girlfriend, and he waxed poetically about the challenges they were dealing with, but he once again flipped the sadness upside down and turned it into an upbeat, positive love song. This is the essence of the Alec I know and love to my last breath and beyond. He was always up for adventures. When we were bored during the summers, we would get on our bikes and follow railroad tracks to see where they would take us. We ended up in Plano, we ended up at strange golf courses, but we always had a good time. We would sneak out of our houses in the middle of the night to go to the lake by Alec's house. We tried to unsuccessfully hotwire a car that was behind his house. Sorry about that, Dennis. And we visited West End to see Beatles City. It was a fantastic exhibit that its only stop in the United States was in West End. But most of all, we visited the Kimball Museum with Dennis, and it was in this sanctuary where we found the timeless beauty of art. I would say that those visits to the Kimball were not only life-affirming, but they were life-saving to me and Alec as we navigated that social minefield of high school at Newman Smith. One of my favorite memories of Alec was when we were teenagers who somehow ended up taking out his childhood Lego set. And we were just playing around, making our dream houses, not really doing anything, just getting lost in our childlike flow. Alec began whistling a call and response show tune from 42nd Street called Shuffle Off to Buffalo. And every time he would whistle the refrain, I would whistle the chorus, and we cracked ourselves up the whole afternoon singing that song over and over again. We knew that Legos weren't cool for middle schoolers, yet we had a safe place to relive our childhoods together and a chance to get it right this time. As Alec moved off to Chicago, Hawaii, Lake Tahoe, and other exciting adventures, I ended up in Austin for college. He came to visit me my freshman year, and in true form, we had a great adventure cliff diving at Hippie Hollow in the middle of the night. We stumbled into the Texas Chili Parlor for the first time together. We even found our way to an all-ages club called Faces, where we enjoyed a little underage drinking and dancing all night long. Our friendship was strong and vibrant as ever. Alec always made me smile and laugh. He took any sadness we faced and turned it into a joyous celebration. Even through rehab after his stroke, his spark broke through the static and struggles to make the most of every moment. When I visited Alec this past December, my father and I met Alec and our friend Matt for burgers at his favorite burger joint in Deep Ellum. As we shared jokes, memories, and laughed a lot, I cherished having the Alec that I knew back. His laughter, his smiles, his positive vibes flowing freely. That time together reminded me, every day is a miracle. Every sunrise is a gift. We never know what the future holds. And I'm so grateful I was able to celebrate that precious time with Alec. With those special people we love, our friendships last through this life and beyond.
For those that don't know me, my name is Lydia. Alec was my uncle. Looking back on the 21 years I got to spend with him, there haven't really been many words that I feel adequately describe the kind of person that he was, except for free-spirited. My dad hit on that already, and I'm sure many of you guys would feel the same way, but there just truly isn't any word in the English dictionary that could explain him any better than that. Throughout my life, I heard such amazing stories about the places he'd been and the people he'd met along the way. And to me, those bits and pieces of him have always set the bar super high for how unapologetically I should live my own life. As I got older, I developed such an appreciation for the way he could make such big problems in his life seem like no problem at all. That's been such an important part of him that I've carried with me through my early years of college. And, as I'm about to be a senior in college, I think that's such an important way to live your own life. I only hope I can live up to half of the same way that he lived. One thing that I will remember, there are two things that I will remember about him the very most. One is the deep love for music that he shared with my dad, and that's something that I remember my whole entire life, just how the music would echo through his household, through my grandpa's household, my own household. Music has been so special for all of us, and also just the way he never quite fit into any single mold. To me, that's what made my Uncle Al the coolest person alive. My dad wrote a poem that I read, and I thought it was so amazing because it really sums up the uniqueness and vibrancy that Alec had, and so I'd love to share it with you guys today. It's called, "He Didn't Want to Be Like Other Men." He danced across the desert to the beat of his own drum. They told him not to dance that way, but he just kept on and on. He strummed to the strings of his guitar to the music of the hills. They told him not to play that way. He said, "I always will." He saw the world through his own eyes the way he wanted to. They tried to sway him their way, but their way would never do. He just didn't want to be like other men, doing things the way they've always been, going down the road to work and back again. No, he didn't want to be like other men. He sang about forgiveness and of love and hope and peace. They asked him to stop singing, but his voice would never cease. He dreamed about a day when he would fly off with the birds. They told him he was crazy. He refused to hear their words. He had a sparkle in his eyes the day he took off to the skies. They hoped that he would stay, but he just smiled and waved goodbye. Because he just didn't want to be like other men, doing things the way they've always been, going down the road to work and back again. No, he just didn't want to be like other men.
Hasn't this been a good time? This is such a special time. I think all of us who are here today, whether we knew, Alec really well or not, and it's just such a blessing. When Chris came and sat in my office and we were talking about my being a part of this service, I said, tell me about Alec. And I could have learned and listened to you more and more and more. And thank you for what you shared. And Tony, boy, you guys had a good time, didn't you? Oh, what wonderful childhood, adolescent, and high school and whatever day experiences. And, as I listened to Chris tell me about him, this way I kind of fell in love with this guy. I just wish I had known him really well and really better. And because I imagine many of us in here, whatever our station life is, there's a free spirit in all of us. One of my favorite words is life is not just a journey, it's an adventure. And I'll tell you what, he lived an adventure. We don't always know where everything is going, but that's what makes life special, and what a special time it's been. Thank all of you for being here today. Just as family, to be comforted and know the support that everyone who is here today. I'll tell you, the music that we've had today, Antoine on the keys, as you would say. Oh, thank you and Ian. The Mystic is something that touches all of us in a very special way. Rick, you always had percussion, and Claire, you're going to be singing a little bit. And Chris, thank you for making all this today happen. And I think that this is the first time there's been a sort of memorial service here in the worship, in this WAC Center, as it's called, right? This is kind of an inauguration. Most services here are over in the sanctuary, but I can't think of a better place for this to be than a place where all kinds of entertainment and all kinds of experiences occur. And so thank you. And I think that everyone who can, Chris is going to come up a little bit after a prayer and tell us what we have in store yet to go. And I think that's going to be a wonderful time of continuing in a real celebration and a free and delightful way. So thank you all for being here. I think the spirit that we feel is one that lifts us and connects us all. So it's been my privilege to get to know or visit with you, a number of you. Tony, you and I had a good time to talk for quite a while before the service started, and I didn't know all those wonderful times you had, but thank you. So I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. And so after the prayer, Chris will come and tell us where we go from there, and we'll continue a good time. So please join me in the spirit of prayer. Dear God, of each of us and all of us, we thank you for this awesomeness of creation that you have for all of us, for your loving spirit that fills us and connects us all in life, in death, and life beyond death. We thank you for the amazing life of Alec Stone, his loving free spirit, his music, his creativity, his goodness, his adventure, and his way of touching and blessing so many lives with love and humor, with peace, with joy, with expansion. We're thankful for this day to celebrate his life. May we carry with us precious memories, comfort for the grief, and a song in our hearts as we take the open road for the living of these days and loving one another. In the embrace of Christ we pray. Amen.
lot of meaning to our family. It's always been special to us. Alec loved that song. He just loved Simon and Garfunkel, and that tune meant a lot. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. Hey, we're going to have fun now. We're going to move from here to the Happy Hippie Brewing Company to celebrate, make toasts to Alec, tell stories, and just have a good time together. That's what he wanted, so that's what we're going to do. It's half a mile down the road at 500 Lockwood. We hope to see you guys all there. If you need directions, let me know outside. Thank you.